Gan on the attack there as well, of which they found 9 rounds. So if history is anything to go by, this is a 9-3 half in favor of Novo, because that's the same scoreline that both teams had yesterday. But look, if Valorant was that simple, then there'd be no point in us being here. And I have to say, yeah, to come back to that veto pick, it has looked really nice. It enables you, even as a sentinel, in air quotes, to get a lot more aggressive, something which Malsi has shown the capability to do. He comes from a duelist background from his time on Vitality as he pivoted towards being an initiator player, now an in-game leader. And with this group, this crop of game changer players under his wing, and Avova by his side, happy birthday to him as of last week, by the way, they're hoping to cap off the celebrations with another win, which would put them 2-0 in the group. But starting on the defense, Axolotl want to see if they can respond to what was a poor performance yesterday. It's not going to start with promising signs.
Yeah, I'm used to being the first to get an initial pick, although there is a delayed trade coming in from Red Westy. She's also a player I want to highlight in the sense of playing on towards this duelist role towards the mixed team as well, and honestly feeling very unapologetic about how she gets some of her entries when I was reviewing some of the games. Same goes as well for Mochi on towards the killjoy.
Yeah.
Can be extremely dangerous, I think is fair to say.
I mean, Mochi was the top fragger in the series yesterday, and a server of 10 players, challengers quality, VCT experience, Ascension winners. She was top of the pops and really responded to some of the critics that she maybe would have had in Spotlight, where we didn't see the best performances from her. She's been around for a long time, of course. Main events ways behind her now, but as we hit the 30-second mark, Novo have made their way onto an uncontested A site. It is a 4 versus 4 situation, but remains to be seen what Axolotl will be able to do here.
I mean, it's equal numbers coming in for the retake. The only issue is there's a lot of utility to get past and no one... Oh, head, hang on!
Yeah, nice shot from Brasso, and with that, Malsi does find an indirect trade. Vertex going down, and Novo holding on to the site. Malsi, a couple more. It falls onto the shoulders of Ryota, though, and in clutches she has been capable. Not this time, Red Westy shuts it down. 3 picked up for Axolotl, and a pistol round on the board.
Hey, we were talking about it not being the best start for them after the initial first blood going in favor of Novo, but coming down towards that retake, a couple of cheeky shots through the walls. And it seems that the band foot that they started on just completely turned tides.
Yeah, Red Westy too, a player that's been around for a very long time, but doesn't really have that history, even within his own region, of breaking out and being a top contender. Only the opening game of playoffs is as far as he had been when Rinascimento still existed, the Italian regional league. Quick tempo shift from Novo here, though, as they pace their way into Garage. Mayusha will be stunned. Malsi unfazed, but the first to fall, unfortunately. So Ndujax will walk away with another hat-trick, and this time it's flawless for Axolotl.
Yeah, farm up a couple of cheeky ecos. Great to keep it flawless because there was a full investment across the boards for everyone. So they're at least going to have a little bit of stronger buy coming in towards this bonus round. And often sees the self-initiation of the stuns being great for that Neon player. But now this is where the conversation really starts to see what Novo can do. We saw them on the pistol being able to get a couple of first bloods, wanting to get a little bit of a pace change in towards the bonus round, over towards Garage. And again, this it's a back over towards this A side of the map, although you do have Mochi at least trying to contain over towards mid and C.
Yeah, the early line from Axolotl has allowed for them to embed a player in the C cubby. The Marshal from Brasso spots Malsi, and with that, Axolotl begin to call a rotation towards A. But it's short-lived. This is just Novo trying to apply pressure in the mid-round before making their decision. As I was saying earlier, Malsi coming now into what will be his 3rd year as an in-game leader. The mid-round's always something he was particularly good at.
Well, drone coming through Garage. not going to get too much information, and especially with this double setup over towards long, not even spotting out the Neon, and then you also have the second string of attack of the Omen, which is starting to explore down towards C. As the Spike and Novo start to drift over towards A, but Axolotl have the complete right read on this. Look at the stack that they have on A.
Yeah, Novo have just not sold enough pressure for this one to be considered. Turret spotted in mid, but Mochi walking away with the kill. And now the backline at her disposal. The rest of Novo ensuing on the A site, but as they encroach, Vertex finds the first and Brasso's not too far behind. The two of them combine, and with the spike dropped, it is just Mochi left. And that late lurk amounts to nothing. Time is going to tick away as Novo are going to see the third round pass them by. A brilliant bonus for Axolotl.
Yeah, the only pick going in favor of Novo was Mochi holding that garage post here. You can see it in the replay. But as soon as it got over towards site, sure, they had the numbers in their favor. It was 4v3, but too much utility to try and push through. The crossfire is already established by Axolotl, and Nova just couldn't break through. Now, that's a 3-0 start for Axolotl. And what were we saying? They had 3 rounds yesterday in their first half. So technically, they've already met expectations, or met what they did last time, and an opportunity to even make it and improve on that scoreline now, since Novo's back onto the lesser weapons.
They have made light work of this B hold though, and with the spike dropped in of Over holding on to the Bucky, this could be a bit of an issue. The first real test in my eyes that Axolotl have to try and pass, because they did really well in the previous round to collect the necessary info, call the over rotation. Now it's just a flat 5-on-5. Mayusha is stunned up though, and Dujax is going to find the opening pick. Over sitting pretty on the site with the Bucky, has his first and the rest chime in. 4-on-2, this is a problem. Novo in front by just the player as it stands, but that spike is yet to be worked on, and Vertex doesn't have the opportunity here either. You can hear the harrowing echoes of Mulsey's TP as he repositions in the corner to pick up his third. I don't know, Winter, we tempted fate a little bit there talking about the 3 rounds, because that's all that Axolotl have.
Hey, that was all they had in one whole half. We've already just started, Hazel. Give them a chance, give them a chance. They've got their 3, okay? They have a couple more opportunities. How many chances to get more? But, yeah, that was probably gonna be a round that they're gonna look back on and stinging a little bit, especially with what Novo were actually coming into that with. But for the side of Axolotl, this is the C site hold that's going to be called into question of one singular player of Red, Westy.
And Mulsey, having already evolved, doesn't get hit by the stun and is ready to trade out Mayusha as it's another injection of pace. Novo saying that we have the experience, we have the mechanics, we're just going to send it. And right now Axolotl not really in a position to contain it once they have made moves of their own. Player down into the retake, but Revenger does exactly what's required of him and finds Mulsey. In the meantime, Mayusha with 1 to fend off the oncoming wave, and Mochi still encircling from the flank. In through Garage, might be a little late. Quick double from Nduja, and Mochi gets cleaned up. So, Axolotl with a successful retake, rebounding off that initial loss.
You almost felt like that was locked in for Novo, especially with the site setup that they have, with Mochi as well coming on the flank over towards Garage, but Heroics coming in from the Neon player in the double kill on the initial entry was a little bit difficult and too much for Novo to handle, and a couple of nice shots, especially that one coming in from Revenger. And you can see the double kill from and Dujax.
Yeah.
But again, it's still threatening this fast pace on towards these sites. Like the site hit itself, like we're looking at the one that they had over towards B and then following round in towards C. Very fast, very snappy, and they're getting into the post-plant positions. They have the flanks layered ready. Just have to deal with the overextension possibly of a Vova, already spotted out over towards DT.
It's just another quick play from Novo. Right now, the biggest issue for me has to be the post plants, because B found success. C and A, they have struggled. Dujax with an early operator here, it is a problem, right?
Especially with this close angle, it's not necessarily one that you're going to completely expect, but with the early pressure over towards garage, over in towards spawn, there's a little bit of confusion of where the players are going to come from.
Yeah, and
it is an exploration.
Falls off the line knowing that the rest of his team are clearing out through the courtyard in attacker spawn, but it has allowed Mulsi a window to move in. Vertex looks off the angle just as he was about to crest the corner. And Mulsi, going into the B site, does find the operator. So, back to a 3 versus 3. There is a lockdown available, but it's the flank coming in. Ryota doesn't expect it and finds a bullet to the back of the head. Mulsi now needing to do a lot more work from this position and bought the time through the nanos. Mochi still fighting, healthy, but Mulsi the one with the rifle. He's getting another. 3 now from Mulsi, as Mochi continues to backpedal. There is a smoke on the spike, so the issue is a little more pressing. Finding the first, but not the follow-up. A decent half-buy from Nova all the same, but Axolotl in the driver's seat.
Although a couple of gaps being left, obviously, by how aggressive Nova are in the initial round with how far they pushed and how much space that they were able to gain over towards garage and B site. You can see that's how Multi got this kill. But even though they've lost that space on B, lost that space over towards garage, because of the proactivity of this double push down C so early on, you see how important it was to get that kill over on towards A-Log, coming in for that retake, that it just splits up the remaining Novo players. And sure, it was a half buy, it wasn't a full investment from them, but still they were making a case for themselves, and Axolotl had the exact right answer.
Ooh, another quick play, this time up A-Long. Dujax buried in the sewers, soon to be supported by the Sova. Westy on site with a rolling thunder to tee up this play, and as Vertex emerges, it's a problem. Mayusha's gone down again, and then Dujax is going to get a free one here on Mochi. Not considering the position. Ryota's going to find one back in the meantime, but Axolotl are starting to make light work of these Novo executions. There comes to a point where you feel like a pause might be required, and we're starting to reach that.
Gonna at least have the rest of this round to talk about options. Hoping to get possibly the spike down at least over towards C to get a little bit of cash influx, because this was their full buy round, having been on a half by the round before. It's not necessarily a comfy position for Novo to be in. Obviously it's 1-5, you're in a 2v4, and you don't necessarily have money going in towards the next. It's going to be at least a scrap fight. But for the side of Axolotl, right? We were talking about how poor their performance was against Leo. They've completely had an answer back from that.
Absolutely. And with Mulsi blinded here, he's forced to forfeit his position. Revenger makes the cross. Mulsi has the crosshair placement though. And with the interceptor active, there was half a chance to catch any strays. But it ultimately came down to the gunplay, and that's not a position that he was able to win from. So Axolotl up to 6 already. They have doubled their round count from yesterday's game, albeit on their map pick in this series. And we know, I think it's important to mention, Novo have been starting slow in the games that we've seen, not just from them in Spotlight, but yesterday as well. When do we see a shift in the game plan and a little bit more depth to their game?
Maybe after a timeout, you're expecting one to possibly be coming through here, or maybe in towards the next, because again, looking at the money, you have players on half armor, possibly a couple bits of utility missing, a player down on towards a Guardian. Although they do have a couple of ults to work with, again, fast pace, or at least feigning that pressure over towards A.
Yeah. And it's worked out perfectly for them, because they draw out Vertex's Hunter's Fury. Another tool which has so much impact in this round when you look at the lockdowns available. Novo with their own counter. So a much slower pace after conditioning the velocity. Revenger looking for the timing on the drone, but Mayusha has it covered. And with that, it's the numbers for Novo they were looking for.
And also, like you were talking about the Killjoy lockdowns on both sides. Oh, hang on.
No way. We're making that play already? Just dropping into garage like that, Brasso?
You have to respect it. Sure, they've lost the space over towards A. And Brasso is still exploring. At least deals with the turret, which now gives an opportunity for the B players to have a little bit of a walk down. You just gotta be careful here.
Seen it a few times already. Axolotl quite happy to be proactive, face check and flank at their disposal. Has brought that counter offline, so both of the lockdowns still available. And Mulsi, with the evolution already active, will be able to play on site in the face of this. This is something that Axolotl have to be thinking about. They've backed all the way up to respect the other lockdown, and that's where Mulsi's just going to sit in the middle of things. He doesn't take the opportunity to break it, but he knows that he can hold the line here. The next fight teed up for him, Red Westy wins it. That keeps Axolotl in a commanding position right now, but the time is their enemy. The third man playing in a Novo shirt. Avova continuing to buy more of it, and with the next shot landed, that might just be it. Red Westy will walk in and find his third, but that is all she wrote, and Novo get their second in the half.
I do love seeing the little cheeky things that you don't necessarily are completely used to in regards to Vito being on the opposing side. You saw, especially over towards A, the lockdown was coming in. There was mollies as well over towards that choke point to dissuade anyone from peeking out to try and destroy it. And you can see how Mulsi is so able to comfortably sit in this molly, collects the kill, sure goes down afterwards, but it's the amount of time that he bought for the rest of the players, allowing Avova to play from a position of strength when he has that time on his side, planted open, and we're straight back in. Very fast hit over towards a lobby again, but Jujax is actually here to have some little bit of an answer back.
Does catch a tag down to 70. It's all about Vertex on the site now, and Ndujak's pairing up has kept Axolotl competitive in this round. Novo with the plant in, long rotation for the defenders.
There's no flank watch either, and you can see the Killjoy going on a little bit of a wander around. Player going to be noted over towards Heaven at the bare minimum.
Ooh. Avova is so heads up on this. From the Shadows committed, this is for info. That's going to be cancelled and give Avova half a chance. He takes it. Ryota winning theirs as well on the Heaven player. So walking back into a one-way. Where did you ever expect that one to go? Novo picking up back-to-back rounds now. And beating the odds yet again.
I feel like whenever we see a post-plant coming in from Novo, they never have the man advantage. They never have the numbers in their favor, just because of how expensive Axolotl are making it when they're on these sort of site hold lines or going for early picks over towards short, for instance. But time and time again, Avova in these sorts of clutch, and Mulsi even in these clutch situations, Mulsi towards spawn, Avova towards long, or even just pulling out a triple kill from his hat. Go, go, go!
Sometimes all it has to be to leading from the front, just saying to the rest of the players, play your own game, we're here as a closer if you need it. Mayusha trying to open up the space, it's Revenger playing close that Ryota finds, but Brasso is the hero on the site right now, which Axolotl needed. A quick fire quad kill. And with Mochi all that remains stranded elsewhere, another quick incision from Novo is blunted as Axolotl respond in kind. The 7th secured, the advantage theirs.
And just off the back of one singular player, we were talking about how expensive it is for Novo to get onto the site and get into these post plants, and sometimes they can't even manage that because of the line of defense that Axolotl put up. It's so strong, and like you said, in a blink of an eye, Mochi's left all alone.
Ooh.
30 seconds left.
It's not even going to change up the angle either. Finally does on the hard clear. But Nduja's just saying to his team, look, guys, Mochi's not going anywhere. Spam that wall. Get involved. Ooh, I think that... I did see a message in chat about a tech. Mochi will go down for Brasso's ace, although I don't think it comes in the fashion that the Killjoy player on the other side probably would have been hoping.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of robbed of the opportunity for an ace after the heroics he had up on towards site. mostly on his own. But instead it's the pickup of the ace off an AFK kill.
Yeah. Like, you saw moving the mouse a little bit and you're thinking, okay, right, like, maybe they're just saving in window, but still winnable 1 versus 3. Novo giving a couple of rounds here to keep themselves in the hearth. Like we said, slow starts have plagued them a couple of times, but once they get into the flow of things, we know how good they can be over a 3-map series. Looking at the rest of this veto as well, Winter, with the fact that we've got Bind coming up and that we're going to be ending on Pearl, as we've seen quite a lot already, how does that make you feel about things? Because we were talking about individual map metas. Are there any agents here that you feel like would be a big loss heading into the next 2?
Ooh, Neon maybe is one of the ones that you're looking towards, and also the Killjoy. But again, when you're looking at the next 2 maps, there's very decent replacement options. Yeah. And it comes down to seeing what the players themselves are able to flex to. And I don't necessarily have any doubts in regards to if they can flex to a different duelist or Mochi and Brasso flex into a different Sentinel and the likes of that. But maybe for the playstyle that we've seen Novo attempt for a couple of rounds now, of those fast space gaining plays that you have Mayusa on with the Neon, and then a heavy look coming in from Mochi, I think there's opportunities when we maybe go to like the Pill, we can see a Waylay and agents on the similar caliber as the Neon of being that fast space gaining and just really in your face sort of agents that it seems that maybe not necessarily from the 3 rounds that we've seen Novo get on the board, but they're not shying away from those initial fights that they want to duel early on.
On Bind, for example, it would be the Raze, I think, for Axolotl here, knowing that they can't play these agents on the 3rd map if we get there is the most important thing to consider. I think that Sova is going to be a loss, but you look at everything else for both teams, really, and even heading into Bind, there are plenty of changes that you can make in terms of the controllers. I mean, even Astra as a pick by the time you get to Pearl. Yeah, there's plenty of options. We are just in a quick tech pause, as I believe one of the players, I assume it's Mochi, is having some connectivity issues right now. But looking at the score sheets, I've been pretty impressed with Brasso so far. Someone who has spent time in the system, in Italy, alongside Zand, who is in their rookie year, Vertex, just the end of last year. They made their debut in a lot of the same competitions. But as I said, the former Novo player for a short stint of time, piling on the pain right now, 15-5, pretty close to having another lockdown already.
And you're talking about the comparison, right, of the 2 rosters and how well we were hoping to see Mochi perform off the basis of what we've seen her go and perform in the last couple of matches, maybe not necessarily in Blanda Spotlight, like you said, but coming into the matches yesterday was top in the charts for Novo. So hoping with the connectivity issues sorted, we'll get to see a little bit more of the Mochi that we were seeing yesterday as well.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting to see what she plays. I mean, yesterday it was 3 different Sentinels. The default choice for an anchor, the Vice, the Cypher pivots. And these are really valid choices to be making when you look at the maps that we have in the veto as well. I think Bind is probably one where you're happier to actually just go secondary controller instead. But yeah, it's lending itself, this current map pool, really to the format. Because I have to say, we have a lot of maps with a lot of variation. It's not your Ascent, double initiator, Sova KO that we've become so used to, or even here on Haven, I think, in current meta, having plenty of options of what it is that you want to play. So team's not exactly hamstrung in terms of options, which is nice.
I will say, I was touching on it before we even got into the map veto section, of if you have 3 different maps, no matter if you're team A or team B, there's so many options for you to play agents for you to play across them. Like when you're looking at bind, like you said, you're looking towards the raise. You're not necessarily going to be seeing that as much on Haven or on Pill. So that's a relatively safe map to be able to pick into as your map pick, as your agent bans as well. And it's the same thing with the neons on towards bind, on towards Haven. You're not necessarily going to see that on bind. You maybe want to make a case for it going into Pill, but then you have varying options as well. So I think it's a very nice map veto that we've got for these two teams on regards to what they are going to be restricted from playing as we go forward.
As you can see, we are back into the action, although this round is still a bridge for Novo to cross. They don't have the best of weapons. I did see a rifle brought up there, but the silhouettes suggest that it is just pistols right now. Ryota and Mochi congregating outside of lobby. It's the standard Sova drone for the reclear, and with just the Neon playing towards A right now, they don't call a massive rotation, Axolotl. Brasso's in the perfect position to find the first kill. I don't know if it was a gap in the smoke or just the right angle, but picked up nevertheless. And the B pivot called from Novo to try and get the spike down in a hurry. It's a Nova that trades off the back of Mulsi with a headshot onto Brasso. Ryota's there for the taking. Spike tapped on the next, still feeling the pressure and the heat of this Axolotl defense, and for good reason. Revenger is there as the safety net. Mochi the last player standing, but this time in fighting form, you could say. I'll tell you what, that's a nice shot onto Vertex, but a consolation nonetheless. Axolotl extending the lead.
Last round in the half.
Now it starts to get a little bit scary, right, for Novo. On the precipice of possibly even being 9-3'd after having such a great debut yesterday. And an answer back from Axolotl. Sure, it was an eco round, so now all the money's going to be invested into this final round at the half. You're hoping to get something on the board, but the thing to draw your eyes to is the disparity in ult economy. You're looking at Axolotl 3 massive ults when you're talking about retakes or just initial early fights. It's going to be a mountain out of a molehill for Novo to just try and get this 4th round on the board.
Go, go, go.
We saw some incredibly one-sided halves last night, and that owes to the strength some of these compositions have, but Axolotl with the right read so far and how to handle Novo's explosive capabilities. Mayusha leading the line. Mulsi so often that second in as you expect him to be. They've got free reign of the A site here, but it's the ultimates at the top of the HUDs that are the most worrying thing for me. You see the alarm bot placed by Axolotl and Brasso. He's just so ready to receive this.
Cover going out.
And there's just no point in them even fighting to hold this towards the site. Playing heavy over towards CMB, an early lockdown as well. They're going to be enough time to get this spike down and maybe get off site for the side of Goto, get to somewhere safe.
Ooh. There are going to be players stuck out on long in this corner, and with the Rolling Thunder already in play, huge possibility to make this damaging.
Oh, the aftershock.
Avova TP's out, the aftershock is huge like you say, and with a spam coming in, Red Westy capitalizes. A second, in fact, a quick double dip, and the ult's still available. You've got to remember, Novo given the opportunity to play this out on their terms. And in such a regressed position, it's the space which Axolotl are welcomed in to fill. Red Westy finally getting involved, but Mulsi stepping up, and you can't help but feel they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit here, and that's the fact. Novo with 4 in the end. They clean up to finish the half and save some face. But a missed opportunity for Axolotl perhaps to make that a little more damaging.
Yeah, you'd have thought that this was a shoe-in round, especially after the early lockdown. The aftershock over towards long, but Avova just being a menace, hiding from the clear that they had. The Rolling Thunder not being as impactful as they were hoping, and the double stack of players on towards short just running back in towards the site. And yeah, left a little bit too late for Axolotl, grasping at straws as the time started ticking, but 8-4 is still a respectable half, right?
Absolutely, it's damage limitation for Novo more than anything else. As Axolotl picked up the first pistol round in this map, this is an opportunity for them to double up and really pile on the pain on their own pick. Duzhnax is the first player into Garage, but all of this is just raising question marks which Novo are forced to address.
Couple of jump peeks over to try and spot over towards mid, Riot's up. And Multi, the first line of defense, over towards B, and they're going to have to be careful, especially when we're looking at the lurks of these Killjoy players. Mochi was attempting to do it on the first half. Now it's Brasso's game.
It's a brilliant shot from him as well, threading the needle on a running Ryota. The fast blood coming in from Novo on the C site, and Avova stands tall. 2 kills, but Mochi needing more. And with that, Axolotl move the needle in their favor. A 2 versus 1 up against Mayusha. She's fast to respond and has just spotted the back of Red Westy. It's one of the 2 players, but can she piece together the puzzle? That's the turret from Brasso. Now she should know. Breaks it, and well, so do they. The stun misses, can't find the target. In fact, no, Brasso is caught. And in the meantime, the teammates scarpered. Red Westy nowhere to be seen. Mayusha on a cover-up mission. And both Axolotl players swept under the rug. A 5th round for Novo. Their own defender side pistol won out in a clutch fashion.
Oh, I need to see this on the replay. Sure, it doesn't start off great, right? You have the lurk kill coming through for the side of Axolotl, but give Mayusha a chance in the clutch. Already spotted the first player going in towards Garage, gets the info on the second, deals with the Killjoy, and 3 bullets left in the chamber, takes the wide swing, connects the headshots, and just a peaceful defuse. It seems like it's just another day at the office for her.
Mayusha, again, finding one more through the wall, and this Guardian still has more to be said of it. She's thinking about finding another spam. And why wouldn't you?
There are a couple of tags.
Great to see her in firing form again. But it's Red Westy and Mochi both on these sheriffs. Either limitation that has made things interesting. Novo are back in control though as Ryota picks up that one, and Mochi leaves a gap in the defense behind her, gives Duzhnax an opportunity to get the plant in at the very least.
It's about how much damage that he can do from this position. It's a 1v3, 10 HP, 3 bullets. Get 1.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, too low HP. Avova is going to pick that up so easily with that as Spectre.
That would have been it, right? 1 more kill and suddenly Novo don't have as strong a bonus, but they keep the majority of their weapons, and it's Mayusha with another headliner. She has that experience of playing in the main event, funnily enough, with Anonymo back in 2023, and has been so vocal about her time then that she's had to remodel as a player. Only 16 years old at the time, and it's been quite a journey for her to make it back to the top cut. Still waiting with this Novo side to get that opportunity again. But it feels within reach, and it's rounds like that that just give you the promise of what this team could be.
I mean, it's where Sasset was kind of founded from, one of the heavy hitters of GC, like, EMEA of this whole year, right? You look at your time on Twisted Minds, onto GX as well.
If GX aren't going to play with her, sign her back, man. Bring the Novo girls back together. Let's see how far they go. Because genuinely, I think we're talking about a main event contender here, or at least a team from contenders to go up and find that promotion push. As we're waxing lyrical about them, though, it's Axolotl who have had their first member dropped on this full purchase. They've frozen in place. And because of the double senti, with the utility, it's afforded this massive rotation towards A. And Axolotl starting to close the gap. Are going to be running into numbers here. Ryota on the other side of the smoke. And Duzhnax breaks her ankles right around the other side. Brasso with a double. And despite Novo's best efforts, It looks like they're going to be coming up short-handed here on the bonus.
I mean, that's a nasty little combination of how you want to take backside of A. Like you said, just breaking the ankles. A Neon player just running past you. Although, Mochi has an opportunity to get a couple of exit frags here.
Oh, picks up the first. Red Westie's low, not enough bullets in the gun. Picks a new one up off the ground, but Red Westie with these pistols is a little too sharp. Still just 3 rounds between the teams. Axolotl finding their first in the first rifle buy that they will get. But this is a huge swing round now, Winter, to really lay the landscape and set the table for the rest of this half.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, just looking at the replay, you were thinking that Novo, especially after getting the first initial kill, with the players stacked up on towards the A side, that there was a conversation of them being able to do exactly what Axolotl did to them in the first half.
Tricky position for Mayusha, and if Mulsi wants to stick this TP, he's got to make a full 180-degree flick of the mouse. Holding onto the smoke for now, it's a face check from Axolotl and 1, which smashes the skulls of Novo. 2 first bloods, 5 versus 3. The map at their disposal, and on such a key round, Mochi's got cold feet. She's thinking about peeking middle, but you have to hold the line here.
And especially with those 2 early kills and over a minute left on the clock, Axolotl aren't going to be rushing into anything. Wow. It's a group up over towards long and a walk from the 2 Novo players. They might have an opportunity, but the thing is, a Vertex is just too good.
He's thinking about it. The mind of the Sova player constantly looking for that next piece of information and catches wind of the proactivity. For Novo, their hands were tied. That's the sort of play you've got to make to win the round, and if he's not looking, none of them might have been. An opportunity for them to bring it back on equal terms, and it ends with Mochi on an extremity yet again, biding her time as the 45 seconds tick away. This one onto Vertex. It's easy as they'll come for her. The rest of the pack have been sent out to hunt.
Oh yeah, they are chasing this down. Knowing that she's at least contained over towards this long position.
What a stun. She's seeing if she can find a little bit more here. Flash catching her. And that will be it. Axolotl breaking into double digits now. And that has ruined the economy of Novo as well, or so you would assume. We'll have to wait and see until the money comes up on screen, but yeah, Mulsi missed opportunity, and that position for me from Ryota is just not the best to trade off, right? It was, felt like they were in 2 minds of what they really wanted to do there.
Yeah, it's a great start for Axolotl in towards the round. And yeah, talking about the money, Novo down on towards Sheriffs. Although, Mulsi finding a lot more success on the Sheriff on that short fight.
A little bit better for him this time. Interceptoring, Util shut down. Ryota with a little bit more damage, but needs kills now. Wants that kind of impact. Mayusha and Avova so quick to hit the scene, and when they do, it's the overdrive involved. Brasa with a 1v3. A kill deep. Rifles recovered for Novo, but it's Mayusha to end it in thrifty style. The ult's getting maximum impact. And Novo back on track.
It's silly to see both Neons in and out of the smokes, both with the ultimates active. Hopefully you can see in the replay here. And Jujak's just in and out of smokes, trying to get the next kill. And you have the same, yeah, it's the same exact thing that Mayusha was doing over towards the opposite side of the smoke, over towards A. And a massive triple kill from her on her flood back into the site, and gives a thrifty round to Novo.
Mulsi playing from short, TP's onto the boost, but can't quite find the timing he would have been looking for here. Given away on the reload, and 2 players from Axolotl bearing on down. With this ultimate invested, every single fight he takes, he'll be healthy for the next. Living the ult, it's caught both players by surprise, but still able to correct themselves on the follow-up and falling to the hands of Mayusha. 32 HP. She's got so many targets still to find. Drops the spike in backside, and Mayusha on to the next already. A 2v1 on site is still slow on the uptake here. Will be Brasso. She yet to reveal her hand, but when she does, it's Red Westy again at the double, and that might just be the nail in the coffin. Axolotl giving themselves some breathing room now.
Yeah, but by the skin of their teeth, Mayusha doing as much as she possibly can in that situation. You're hoping maybe Multi got one over towards Shaw, being able to nullify the paranoia, the ultimate, any of the stuns coming his way. Instead, it's Red Westy that breaks the dream for Novo to put back-to-back rounds together and puts themselves up onto 11. And again, the financial situation, implications on towards Novo. You have Guardians, you have half armor.
Fancying her chances of this mid-play, and Avova is there to bail her out. A bad situation which Novo are able to profit from. And with Riot extended on A as well, they have a monopoly on the information right now. The only gaping hole would be the C site. That is quickly met with a rotation.
Take flight.
But even this feigned pressure over towards A is going to be confirmed relatively quickly off the back of that Aldrin. That there's nothing there. There's no pressure. It's still over towards mid that they have to worry about. They still have utility on towards B. They have 4 players stacked between C and Garage, respectfully. But it doesn't, oh my god, it doesn't matter.
Mayu can't find that trade, so Vertex's triple has swung the balance heavily in Axolotl's favor. This could be the tipping point. Avova crossing the site with the TP, but everyone on Axolotl involved now. And Ryota's recovery mission feels a little too far-fetched. She isn't going to consider the defender side angle. And Red Westy again in the feed. This guy has been doing the heavy lifting on the breach. Not just the utility, but the impact in terms of kills as well has always been there.
Yeah, a little bit disjointed going for that trade. There was the 2 players on site fighting first in towards Garage, and an opportunity for the players inside, specifically Vertex, to adjust in towards window. But Novo had the right read. They had the players in the right places. It's just Axolotl being able to isolate each angle of the fight. Gets them 12 on towards the board. Now Novo fighting off the back foot once again in regards to the economy, in regards to utility, and now in regards to health. Of Avova already being put down low off the back of that initial spam.
Big loss. Now Avova's walking on thin ice. Ryota breaks through, head beneath the waterline. Novo starting to run into trouble here. Pack of players grouped up in grass. You can see what their intentions are. Garage space attempting to be taken, but as the drone is broken almost instantly. Slight changing of the guard here, looking towards A instead now.
But they do have the Killjoy lockdown to play with. Still some early utility signs over towards short that they are present. Are players of the Axolotl side wanting to explore over towards A.
What is the call from Novo here? The lockdown comes in, but no intentions to fight the site early. A counter ult from Axolotl. So they can at least maintain this space for a moment, but the spike plant doesn't come in. There's a nano lineup in the corner. Oh no, this is detrimental. Avova's just queuing up for his opportunity. He knows they're all detained, but it's a stinger for God's sake, Avova. That's not the gun for the job. Oh no.
The time.
Brasso picking it up. Time is low. The attack might not have enough to get this spike in. Could Molsey win it here, really? Needs a few Guardian shots and can't get it. Pandemonium in the final round, but another missed opportunity for Novo. 13-7, and Axolotl respond to yesterday's result with an opening map win.
Oh, and in the fashion that they do it on that final round, all five Hazard have been trapped inside that lockdown from Mochi, but the worst weapon, the worst possible choice of all 5 players that could have been on the flank. It had to be the player with the stinger and taking those long-range engagements down over towards long. It's just a rough way to close that one out.
Treat it like an aim lab. Get the classic out and start clicking the heads. They're not going to move.
They can't really.
Man, I know that the Stinger has had some changes to it on this patch, but that is very, very unfortunate. But I think still symptomatic of the overall Novo performance. Took a while for them to get going. Felt like they only really had one approach stylistically to the attack side. It was 5 or 6 rounds before we saw them actually show us a little bit more of what they could offer in terms of the pacing at the very least, putting some of these rounds together. And even with this being an off-season project, you look at the pieces, Mulsi, like I said, another year for him as an in-game leader. You need to be able to prove that regardless of the group, you can make something happen in those situations, and we want to see more layers to their game. But enough speaking about them. Honestly, I'm very impressed with how Axolotl performed on the whole. The individuals showing up, the team play there in pockets when it needed to be. Any standouts for you, Winter, in terms of players that really impressed you on that one?
I mean, I think it's going to be easy to say Red Westy and Brasso, right? Topping the board, both at 23 kills each. But I do want to have a look at more towards Vertex and Red Westy in regards to the utility that they were able to use. Not only in supporting and Jujax into getting onto site, going for the retakes itself, or just being an absolute pain in Novo's butt in the sense of they were able to delay so much, catch players off guard, disrupt any of the plays that Novo were trying to go for. Because especially when you're looking at how you mentioned how they were playing on the attacking side of wanting to go for stuff very aggressive, very early on, be that sort of pace changey team, it got pretty much dismantled very quickly by those two players in regards to the utility usage.
Yeah, I think for Red West, he's really put his name on the map here as well. This is still a player that has been active in the Italian scene for the last 3 years. He's representing Axolotl for the first time since 2022. Took a real gap in his career, but is showing what they've been missing out on in all of that time, honestly. So, yeah, popping up in this one already. And for Novo, it's back to the drawing board, but they're heading into their own map pick. We've seen them respond in the following maps before. Haven a bit of a write-off, but we're going to head to a break, and when we return, it's Bind on the horizon. Can Novo right the ship, or are they going to be taking a loss to Axolotl, who can move from the bottom of the group at long last? That's what we're here to find out, so we'll see you very shortly.
No.
Welcome.
Yesterday
Was their opener.
looking towards Novo to have a little bit of a upset, and especially with the composition that they're bringing through in towards this one, it is that double duelist composition, and both teams favouring in towards that waylay.
Yeah, look, maybe all they need is a fresh start, a new canvas, something to get stuck into. Because, as you say, Axolotl came into Haven with bad history. I think it's a case of apples and oranges here. Novo have to simply prove their quality to respond from what we've seen previously, and we know that they can. Looking at the composition here, the Waylay from Novo is the well, the Waylay and the Fade are the two agents immediately for me that we could potentially see from them heading into Pearl as the decider. Any losses, and for Axolotl, it doesn't matter what they play here. They are simply restricted on what they played on the previous. All of that comes back by the time we get to map 3. If we get to map 3, which of the comps are you preferring right now in terms of what we're seeing?
I think in regards to on this map in particular, in that sort of isolated view, I love Novo's comp. Having that double duelist, sure, especially with the changes that's been made towards Yoru, favoring towards the Raze Waylay double duelist, and also pairing that with Ryota on the Fade. There's a lot of little micro things that you can get done, whether it's a Fade pole, a Waylay dash on top, or even using the paint shells from Mayusa on towards that Raze to deal a little bit of early chip damage, catch players off guard in certain positions, and be punishing of those corners or even early engagements when they eventually switch over towards that defender side. If anyone wants to go for lurks up towards a pull and a nade can be absolutely devastating. So I'm definitely favouring Novo, but in no means is Axolotl's comp bad. There's a lot of things that they can work with on their side as well.
Absolutely. And coming off the back of a win, they're going to be feeling confident. Novo have a lot of work to do in my eyes to put right this attack side. It's the standard Viper utility, as we do have a disconnect in the bottom left. I'm hoping that won't prove to be an issue later on. Novo are quite slow to scale in this position. They've already gotten up so far as Hookah. And I believe, yeah, Red Westy, the disconnected player, was the Brim on the B side. So with him out of action, Novo fully capitalizing on it. The short play not going their way. Revenger with a quick two-piece. And in for a third hit. No bullets, 5 HP. Ryota will claim 2v1.
Well, we saw heroics from Brasso on the previous map. Now both players spotted out.
Oh, Brasso trying to push this one and see if he can find Ryota isolated. This fight which has continued to evade him. Ryota clicking away with the classic, and that's Novo taking the pistol. Now, it will be interesting to see if this stands or if the previous is reinstated because there was a disconnect before any bullets were fired. Winter, so we will have to see. But it's feeling like a better start.
Yeah, it's lovely to see how much space that they were able to gain. Even if there was a disconnect over towards B long in towards Garden, they still were able to scale up Hookah. They had the gaps notified, like they identified, took advantage of it, and sure, it was a shot in the back on possibly a disconnected player. But realistically, would have they been looking that early on over towards site itself?
Yeah, it's a fair point. Novo did get themselves in position pretty quickly, and as you can see, we're in a tech pause. Some deliberating to be done as Red Westy is unfortunately having internet issues. I don't know, man, that Italian internet's not doing too well right now, as we've got 6 players in the server from the same nationality.
It is nice to see, though. A lot of Italian players in the server. It's not something you get to see too often outside of the designated Challengers League combined with Portugal and Spain. So an opportunity for a little bit of a stage for the Italian players now coming into this opportunity, into this tournament as well.
When you actually look as well, there is still an Italian circuit, Circuito Tormenta, which I tuned in to watch the finals of not too long ago, actually. It was Axolotl that ended up winning that. Red Westy lifting the trophy at the end of it. On Halloween night, October 31st, Friday night.
Spooky.
Spooky indeed. I am just very quickly keeping half an eye on the other results to see if there's any updates that I can give you all watching right now in terms of what exactly is going on. We've got a pretty entertaining game, and honestly, if it wasn't a repeat team, Eternal Fire Eintracht would probably find itself on the broadcast. Shakmat also playing. Gamax MIR, BWB against Glacial Guardians. But I can't find any scores. I've got to tune into the French stream or something. So, as I say, updates will come through if and when we have them.
I mean, to be fair, we were talking about this match in itself of what our predictions would be coming through on towards this series. And I'll put us both in it. We weren't expecting, off the back of Axolotl's performance yesterday, to be, and how well Novo did play, that it would have been a series this close and tipping actually in favor of Axolotl. And looking at the other groups as well, a couple of unexpected results when we were thinking of the bounties that have already been collected. Sure, it's still that mid-range. A couple of spooky things happening. It's not Halloween anymore, but still upsets available, and how close some teams in the competition are, how brutal the format is, and mistakes are going to get punished. But it seems the tech pause is over, and we're going to go heading back into this one. Obviously, Novo did lose, win that pistol, so they're going to be the ones coming in with weapons.
Novo gets it started as he would hope it should go on. Yeah, that's a lot of damage on the player backside. Revenge is still standing though, and walking away with one is daylight robbery. It's all that Axolotl will get here though.
Spike planted.
I mean, hey, it was almost 2.
Anything dramatic from Ndujax? Low HP player is Malsi.
Classic 1v4.
Yeah, I've seen stranger things, or I haven't, sorry, because it's not out yet, but what I mean is, it's not impossible, but certainly improbable, and I think Novo have a pretty good idea of what's going on here. And so, back-to-back success in the attack so far has to be the main takeaway here, Winter, because it's something we've been waiting to see. That Novo had struggled so far on this half, but a bonus round would only make things sweeter, and with the amount of weapons they've kept, feels like a real possibility.
I mean, hey, it was something that Novo weren't able to do back on Soul's Haven, of converting their rifle round into Axolotl's bonus at the very beginning of the game, which gave Axolotl that sort of springboard into the victory over on towards the previous map. So it's something to think of for the side of Novo, especially with how strong this buy coming in is. You still have a Vova with that Vandal, you have a couple of upgraded weapons alongside it, the Guardian, the Bulldog.
Where are you?
So it's definitely teeth to this attack, but hang on.
Revenger just with an information gathering exercise. He did bait out the hinder from Malsi though, so that's a key piece of utility lost in what is such an important part of Novo's execution power with this composition. Red Westy face checking, has the info on Mochi, but it's the Viper player, and a telltale sign that it would be a lurk. Plenty more behind this.
Especially it's the Viper player with a Sheriff. It's not something that's alarm bells going off in regards to the fact that it's going to be B, but the thing that is the triple push from Axolotl over towards A. Cleared showers, cleared shore, and you have the Viper now, possibly a Viper head-to-head on its way.
As soon as Mochi realizes this, or even beforehand, the execution will be called. The B finish set up, and everyone on Novo getting something done. Mochi also winning that fight on the backline means that she should have upgraded to a rifle here. With the Vandal in hand, knife drawn for Avenger. Oh, would have had the drop on him. But he does win the fight, and now Ndujax has to do it all. It's not going to happen. Melts under the lights. And Novo are set up for their bonus round conversion. Winter, this has been a serious turn of events, but one that we foresaw, because Novo have been slow to start. Malsi saying, you know, gamers aren't built for the morning matches. And given a little bit of time, the routine has adjusted, and here they are. That's not bad.
Some decent exit kills though, right? But the thing is it though, because Novo came into this was their bonus, right? They're gonna have money going into the next one anyway. They've had one free upgrade short onto one of the surviving players. But it's more of the fact that I sort of had all the information of exactly what was going to happen. They've completely cleared out A, cleared out showers. They were closing in on this flank. And it's the site that falters first.
Yeah, Binder's a map so integral to the core of its gameplay. The anchoring, it's always so difficult to retake, especially on B, so Axolotl trying to collect the information, but perhaps a little too slow, not receptive to what was happening. And here on pistols, Red Westy already quite expansive in his positioning. Only now moving into market, but the spike's been left behind, so any kills found on the front lines could be massively damaging. Quick double from Ndujax, and now that is a problem. 4 versus 3, and Red Westy is sat right on top of the objective.
And do you think they know about this as well? Because you're looking over towards B Garden, you already have the Brimstone over towards that position of over, taking up that mantle.
At least got to be hesitant of it. Huge 1v1, and Mochi isn't even anticipating the player to be there. In my eyes, this round is wrapped up. Novo have little left to do. If they can get past Red Westy, maybe there's half a chance, but look at the amount of time he's going to buy with this molly.
But the thing is, if it is the Brimstone of over fight, this is their way back in. You can pick up that spike as well with the fade on towards that rotate. Avova had technically already cleared out B when he went for his lurk up through long and into towards site, so it's going to be a fast scale up onto site. But the only issue is the time. Obviously, they have the Brim ultimate to buy some time on towards that spawn push out. Kind of need to get this down sooner rather than later.
Second smoke from Avova as well, and Ndujax is low, so an opportunity to punish, but a quick reposition towards elbow, open plant, facilitates the Axolotl have closed the gap though, and Ndujax already with a 3rd kill. Avova hovering the ult. This one's not quite past the realms of possibility just yet, keeping himself in it and keeping Axolotl honest. But it won't work out in the end. It's never over till it's over. Novo fighting until the very death, but Axolotl winning in what should be seen as thrifty fashion.
Maybe this is just the way that both teams get their first round on the board, because it was something similar that we saw back over on towards Haven. Obviously, the script flipped of it being Novo that were able to connect this eco round. But yeah, losing the spike and also a couple of players, a lot of time as well to the positioning of it being over towards that bracket area, over towards market. Give them a little bit too much space to work with on those sheriffs. Upgrade their rifles as well, off the back of the kills they found over towards showers, on the flank as well. And a big ultimate actually invested from Novo, so that's going to be something they're lacking in the next couple of rounds.
Yusha loading up the showstopper here to get into the site. Hasn't taken too much space off the back of it just yet, but she rounds the corner in lamps. Novo is set up with the spike planted. There's plenty of damage dealt in the exchange, and the Prowler's missed, so doesn't quite clear out the space. The molly's only going to inhibit Axolotl's opportunities to get back in here from Red Westy. Forced to push through the main portion of things. The health pool is dwindling. Novo kind of locked out from lamps here, and looking to hold the line would be Axolotl, but still thinned out through the smoke, and Red Westy's full sticking this. The 2-on-2, flip 2v1. In fact, there's no one left standing to see it go by, but Novo caught out of position fully there.
I mean, the molly went down towards the spike, but you can see it. I hope you can see it in the replay. It just misses the corner there. You can see it on the bottom left of the screen. It's a slight safe place, and well, Red Westy obviously didn't know when that molly went down initially, but picked the perfect spot to stick it all the way through. And yeah, kind of like the carpet being pulled from under Novo there, especially in the sense of so many ults invested from both sides. It's a full stick that ruins their chances. Now Revenger with an operator online, getting the initial first blood, hoping to get a second, own towards Hooker as well.
Yeah, ooh, Axolotl beginning proceedings with a double opener, Revenger the one responsible. But Novo on equal terms in the blink of an eye. Both Waylay ults available, that's where Revenger strikes again. Mulsi downed, and Avova not in a position to help support his current and former teammate. Ndujax, on the other hand, set up for a backstab. Oh, hang on. The timing could be a little bit awkward here, and actually, Ndujax still walks away with one. But it's Avova in a clutch position. How many times have we seen him pull this off? He was the default choice on the Apex side to do it.
The ultimate's online and a molly in pocket. Plenty of time as well to work with, to reposition if wanting to. And Revenger having to retake with this operator can get a little bit difficult for Avova if he needs to peek in towards the angle. But with the amount of utility that he has, it's a lot of time that he can buy.
Potentially dropping back for the lineup. It's the orbital strike you want to go for first. Put the molly in behind it while you have the coverage to make sure that no one can get on the defuse, but Avova is spacing things out. He knows that there's a little bit more time here before Axolotl can get involved. The molly is going to hit this time, and with that, Avova has won it. There is simply nothing left to be said. Axolotl not giving themselves enough space or time to get past the utility belt of Avova. So Novo continue to build their lead. And what a weird way for it to happen.
Yeah, almost thanking your lucky stocks that it's Avova that survives that little bit of an awkward engagement over towards short of the wraparounds, and especially off the back of the heroics, realistically, that we saw the Euro going for with these multi-kills with this operator, which thankfully they are still able to keeping the hands of Revenger coming into this one. But it's not necessarily backed up by much.
Revenger is the agent that can afford to get active here. 007 licensed to peak, but for some reason everyone else on Axolotl want to be involved, and that's what sells them short. It's another first blood for Avenger. Hasn't hesitated to open his account on the last couple of rounds, but Novo fight back from these positions. The only issue this time, they're heading into the stack. The pistol's propped up by the sniper, and a deadly combination of ults on the other side. If this Waylay and Brim can find a way to combine, it could be everything. It might not be necessary. Red Westy has found a kill. Multi in a dangerous position. The info sent his way. He'll find one more. Still Novo on the back foot.
The weapons aren't necessarily recoverable, so they're still mainly only working with the ones that Brasco and Revenger brought into this. Ultimate popped out, and it's only going to note one of these players. They still have to be wary of Mochi's positioning over towards Showers.
She can be the hero here. Finds the first of the shots. It's slow to the second. And Ryota, the player, put into the hot seat. Lamp's a common position for Novo in these post plants, but she makes her way through slowly. Revenger is looking out for it, though. Shot from behind the truck. And dug an early grave. Nothing more for Novo here, as Axolotl have brought us within one round.
You almost feel like it should be them in towards the lead if it wasn't off the back of heroic clutches from Novo players, especially with how consistent they've been with this operator out and how much impact it can get. Looking forward to that, going further in towards this half to see if it can be more of an impact that we can see a little bit more consistently and getting in the right places at the right time, because Revenge has been so consistent at getting these entry kills. And especially at the top of, not only top of the team, top of the server currently going 11-4.
I looked Revenger up on VLR, and it's an alias. He's one of the names we expected, but still I would imagine a rookie making a serious performance so far, but Novo have an equivalent exchange. Mayusha with the breakthrough this time. Ult still available for Axolotl. Novo the first to use theirs. The Waylay coming in, and it's with their own Brim ult on the head of Ndujax that tees him up to find Avova untraded. Util combo in the corner, the strength of it we spoke about in the build-up. Mayusha with another, but still a 2-on-2. The spike yet to go in, heading for the hills.
The thing is, Ryota is now essentially in a 1v1 with Revenger. Any sort of reposition, any cheeky walkout that we're gonna see.
Oh no. And that's how it ends. That is how it ends. Nothing left to be played here for Mochi on the teleport. And a disconnect between the two Nightingale teammates is what lends us a tied game. Such an unfortunate conclusion there. Some of these rounds have been really interesting to that end. I'm talking diffusers right under the nose, advantages failing to be converted.
Remelts
But this
on your
time,
teammates.
Axolotl will get on the front of it. So yeah, they've been chasing the game, but now they're back on level pegging.
And it's just knowing of the disconnect between the two players, knowing one was spotted towards showers, one's out on towards site, taking the initiative and pinning them in towards site. But talking about taking initiative, is a heavy play down towards long. And Juzek gets one and he is out.
And just Mossy not expecting to find him in the smoke either. Just wasn't considered even after the light speed came in. Mayusha's going to find another opening pick for Novo here on their attack, but it is the result of respecting the molly. Slow creep towards B, still inclined on this left-hand side.
You're almost feeling as if they want to pivot back over towards A with the lurks that they've got and the heavy long, or relatively heavy long presence, obviously losing their initial player.
Look at this from Revenger, though. Spotting out Mochi on one extremity, realizing to himself that this is most likely the lurk, so with the mask on, sent to duty, and spots the congregation of Novo players on shore. In the process, has forfeited the direct line and drops back on this operator with a shorty in the back pocket. First shot not quite landing. Still plenty of space for him to hold on to. Waylay ult coming in. Still no plant from Novo. Hit for a little bit of security. But everything on ice right now. Riding the knife's edge. Revenger through the ult with 2 kills. And Axolotl put in front through his heroics.
Yeah, that is just obviously the first kill over towards short, taking the initiative, even knowing that there's a pit up, knowing that there's going to be some sort of safety to get back on the short line, hoping a player's late to rotate in, and that's exactly how you get Mayusa. But Mochi, just a bullet magnet over towards this ultimate. And again, it's the player that we're constantly repeating of how much impact they're getting, and on the operator itself. Early picks, info with the ultimate, back on the line towards short.
Oh.
But this time, the long play doesn't necessarily work out for Induzax, but Vinix has his back with a couple of trades for himself over towards Hooker. Keeps the numbers in favor of Axolotl.
Red Westy was there as well. That was the key point. Revenger in through the teleport. Mochi nowhere near it. So Axolotl, with 6 rounds already secured, have an insurance policy. They know that the half is at the very least going to reach equilibrium. But there's another opportunity for them to find 8 here. And for Novo, I mean, few and far between. Some rounds they're getting an opening kill, some rounds they aren't. But for the most part, Axolotl in this mid to late round are looking so much better in terms of the positioning. The comms, I think, look like a bit of an issue right now when you consider how Novo are playing off of one another. Team built on comebacks is just not delivering one right now.
Oh, it's a direct hit through Hooker. A lot of damage taken by Mayusa just to get onto site, and it's through the smoke, through a wall as well. And now a shorty in the smoke.
Just feels wrong. Novo ready for every single fight, but Axolotl one step ahead. A flawless finish to the penultimate round in the opening 12.
Last round before the switch.
And I've got to say, Winter, Revenger has looked untouchable at points. Red Westy lucky to get away with not dying to the showstopper here, and I just don't know how he does it.
Such a, oh my god, I was going to say
19
such a quick round. Yeah. That is an insane scoreline. And sure, it's not even eco kills that he's getting, has it? He's just in the fight, just ever so consistently, and now even going to be offered another opportunity, an entry kill. Oh!
Over again, though. Revenger lost. The initial advantage rescinded by Vertex. Nightfall online. consolidating the space. Brasowski holding up the other end. And now Novo are walking into a crossfire. The Brimble brings the house down on their head. And when Mulsi comes back out of his own refract, Brasso is just waiting with him, having open arms. 8-4. This one has very quickly derailed, with Novo only winning 2 rifle rounds in the first half.
Yeah, a lot of emphasis going to be placed on towards this pistol coming through now. And man, just this replay, you hit the Brim ultimate exactly on the 2 players on the head that have been hit by the Nightfall. So they are low HP, it's insta-kill, and yeah, Morsi just straight back into the short position, straight into his death. And now coming into this one, like I said, it's going to be a massive pressure for the Novo sides and a lot of attention if they can get this pistol across the line.
Yeah, we didn't see double pistol yesterday, but I've just had intel. Revenger is sword. So one of the players on the lineup that we listed. Thank you to all of the Italian fans in chat. Grazie ragazzi. I've absolutely butchered that, I'm sorry. Grazie mille. All good. Indujax, opening kill. Mulsi equal to it. And there he is with the second as well. 4 versus 3. It only gets better for Novo from this position. All hands on deck. There's Vertex, who has a clutch in front of him and a little bit of space to work with as well. Mochi closing up the distance. The timing just means that Vertex gets away with the space.
But this does mean his opportunities of isolating a clean 1v1 does diminish. Obviously, Morsi is still towards site on his own. But Mochi's starting to scale up, trying to clear out over towards short. It's going to be alarm bell soon about the shower's positioning.
30 seconds
left. Had an opportunity to go towards the B site, but that one was fleeting, now fully committed, and Mochi also involved. Morsi not offering a clean fight, just waiting for his teammate to get involved. Vertex chipped down to 26, and this one just feels like a far cry at this point in time. Mulsi ending it off with 3 kills, and Novo getting both pistols on this map. So, we do get a double pistol, and it's for the team chasing the lead.
And it's a silver lining, right, for Novo coming into this one. They've been bolstered up by those 2 pistols. Obviously, in the first half, giving them a little bit more breathing room than could have been afforded if it was all down to those rifle rounds. Now it's the important question of if they're going to be able to convert in towards this one. It's not as if we've seen Axolotl heavily invest after losing the pistols, right? There's a couple of Sheriffs classics. There's nothing really to write home about. Maybe just try and overwhelm with numbers over towards the short position, but Avova doesn't even need to see them.
Yeah, Avova unloading. Continuing to build confidence here. It was towards the end of the attack half which we saw him take a couple of first bloods, get entry kills, and being the Brimstone on the defense, such a key role. Usually that first rotating player or first line of defense, depending on which site he plays. Does a brilliant job of it here and keeps the economy clean.
Yeah, likely to be seeing him in this short position and over towards the pocket a lot coming into this half, especially with what you can do with judges as well, knowing that he's a player that tends to like to go for the more peculiar picks. And especially with a heavy fight over towards showers. It's a good opportunity now with me just like taking the Stinger fight. And Avova still again on towards the short position. Good for 1 and out for safety. Sure, he's taking a lot of damage in the meantime.
Ooh. But Red Westy has punched a hole which can't quickly be filled on the Novo side. Mulsi can delay this with the Hinder a little longer, but forced to play for the full retake. Drops back towards defender spawn.
Gapping the smoke over towards CT, so they're going to have to be careful about that on the way back in, about the angles possibly that they're going to get. Red Westy taking a lot of the util on the chin over towards center site, but again, it's the molly that went over towards spawn and the snake bite as well.
Tackside playing to hold this site, not looking for post plant, even with the mollies. advanced position has to be cleared by Novo, and Brasso is able to get that first point of contact. 2 kills taken from Hookah. Red Westie still operating within the bowels of the site, yet to be gutted, and time ticking away. Mossy first tap, no committal. It's Red Westie again to paint the site red. A 3-round lead now established for Axolotl. And Novo not making good of the bonus for the second time.
I mean, at least making it as expensive as possible, but that's not what you need when you're trailing behind in rounds. And with such little success when it does come to those rifle rounds.
One enemy remaining.
You're hoping it's going to be in the springboard to an opportunity of equalization, and instead it's just...
Where are you?
Axolotl 1 away from double digits.
Prego. Into the next. Axolotl in a commanding position right now. Double digits, calling their name. Novo trying to stop this one from getting out of hand. Mossy can't get a grip on the ult.
Hitting the brakes.
Pays the cost of his life, and with that, Axolotl have access to this B site again. This looks so good for them in post-plant, although this time, it's the Hookah position that they're missing.
Ah, but they're aware of it. They smoked it off themselves, and even taking initiative over towards Spawn, and even Hookah cleared out. Just give them a time, and they will deal with players one by one, it seems, and now only 2 remaining. Avova has an opportunity.
I love this. Discipline played by Avova. How many more can he get? It's annoying because Revenge is holding the one angle that you just can't cross. And as Avova pops up in the corner of the screen, oh, he suffers yet another pet hamster death in this series. Feels like Avova gives you the best of both worlds, but that was such an unfortunate way to lose it.
You were hoping that someone else was maybe playing on towards top side. You could get a double kill, and yeah,
but that's
walks
the thing,
a little bit too wide.
When Revenger has this position holding elbow, the other points of contact are within the site or from long. There's no one else there, and it's so frustrating. But to sing the praises of Sword again, that recent Grand Finals win with Axolotl meaning a lot for him. Having peaked on the podium places in the last year of the Italian Challenger League with Outplayed. It's his Euro ult online early here, and an opportunity to really carve out that lead.
I mean, it's something that Axolotl have been challenging from the side of Nova. We've seen a couple of players want to get that orb over towards long, and Axolotl just goes the numbers advantage, bully them off the line realistically to be able to pick up those ult orbs. That's why you get some of these ults online early, especially in the round with the Yoru ultimate.
Who's next?
A lot of information can be gathered, especially going straight through Hookah. Avova and Ryota spotted out.
Ooh. But the spacing here on Axolotl has to be called into question. Those long players can't follow up. Has to be Sword leading the line. The point man of the push, drawing blood on the first. And that might just be enough. Brasso has found a player in rotation as well. It's Mayu. It's a 4 versus 2 Winter. There should be no coming back from this now.
Last player
So he is out in elbow, but that's it. He goes down with the ult. Now it has to be 11.
And realistically, you just want Moisey to be able to keep this weapon over. Sure, they're going to be on a very good loss bonus, but I don't think any kills, even if she was able to get them, it's going to really affect Axolotl that much. Their bank is starting to grow, and so is the round differential now. And sure, there's a couple of ultimates to work with for Nova coming into things, but Axolotl have been very consistent of getting entries with off the back of contact plays, especially over towards Hookah or over towards Short. They might not necessarily even get the opportunity to use these when it comes to those retakes.
Yeah, it's a last stand here for Novo. Money in a bad place. Like you say, they have the loss bonus, but there's only so much you can force up in these positions. Indigo's traded. Mossy gets the better end of it. Can't connect the transfer, but one will do. Dujak's out of play. Axolotl doubling down on this. The short control taken other side of the screen. Red Westy in a 1v1, which he won't win against Mochi. But Brasso is there, and so is Sword. Starting to fall apart at the seams. Just one player in position. It was Mayu. It was! Because Sword has done it again. Of over the last standing member, he's in market a ways away from what's going on. Catch wind of this TP and find the first, but it's the position conceded. And Axolotl in after plant. Contact taken for the drop in. If Avova plays his cards right with this smoke, it could create a bit of a distraction and has bridged the gap. The cornerstone of the side still going, and Avova picks up the next and is quick to tap onto the spike. Searching around this smoke, trying to find the barrel of a gun. He's still smoking from the last engagement. 7 bullets left. Spike now halved, and Avova has pulled the wool over their eyes. The master of disguise through his own smokes. Saving Novo with a 7th.
You almost thought those smokes were gonna come back to work against him when it comes into the final moments of that round of the clutch. Sure, it's great to isolate the first initial kill. I felt they were up for an absolute lifetime, especially since there was no sort of scale up either coming in from the remaining player from Brasowski in towards that. But 5 HP survives, keeps them alive for yet another round, denies Axolotl map and series points, at least for now.
That's it. Just needed one round to keep them in it, beat the odds, feel like this is still winnable. Multi investing the ult, hits plenty of targets, but that target-rich environment shoots straight back. Mayu will keep the numbers even. Axolotl want no further commitments towards this side of the map, and Dujax is going to go down for the cause. It's another B post plant. With Red Westy still alive, there is a lot to think about here.
There's a lot of stuff for them to work with as well coming in towards this retake. For the side of Axolotl, they're extremely split up, so you're looking at how much can one player do, how much damage, how much time can they buy.
Vertex playing with discipline in elbow, finally shows his hand, but it's a little too late. The molly was the cutoff, so Novo will wait out its expiration date to get into the site and defuse. But not quite able to pull the two parts together there for Axolotl, bring everything in the right direction. Just 2 rounds short of what would be a statement series win. Novo aren't done just yet though.
A lot of things invested in towards this one, and this fight over towards Lamb's getting a little bit messy. You have the hindrance on top of hindrance on top of ultimate as well, and flashes. So the fact that it sort of comes away from that in an equal playing field, props to Axolotl for surviving that initial engagement. But it's Nova on the retake.
Find you.
They're able to finally get that round together, but now this is where you're looking at the ultimates so in favor of Axolotl after many being expended by Nova in the previous.
Yeah, Axolotl still have to check on this. It was Mayusha's raise spotted on the other extremity early. Now they set their sights towards B, where they hear an echo of gunfire. A full chorus. Many Novo players in hookah and buried one by one. Ryota still here to zip up the body bags as it's just the double. And with that, Brasso has a brilliant position to counter in transition. You're seeing Mayusha running towards the A site, thinks that this is where it's going to end, and she'd be right. Vertex has pulled this one right back over. Brasso holds it off with a util. Mayu just walks into it, and that's it. 12 rounds secured for Axolotl.
Match point.
Wants to get ahead of the play, hoping that it's not expected. She walks through the Viper's orb and the Molly in tandem. Or it's as simple as a spray through the smoke.
Bold. I'll give her that.
I feel like that's what's needed though. Looking at how the rounds have been going for Novo, like sure, you're getting a couple of plays in the right space, like the hooker fight, right? They had the trades there. But it's the mid to late rounding that Axolotl are showing the difference.
Ayusha double satcheling down short with a showstopper. Something which Axolotl should have been very wary of, as it's the only ult available coming into the round. But as that space is taken, who have they signposted? Ryota is going to get caught here, just in that deeper position outside of market. Avova the same on his walk down, but Ryota does find one follow-up. And Malsi as well on the Sheriff, so still a 3-on-3, and Axolotl still kept honest in this position.
With two players being spotted out over Force and the TP back over Force B, it's kind of confident that they're wanting to rotate over, but since a lot of time has passed, they're getting a little bit slower on this scale. Mochi is in towards site, so there's an opportunity to be the stopping force here.
Just going to find the first to open up the play. Only one out on the site, it's Sword, but wastes no time to capitalize from the hinder. And so it's a 2-on-2 to settle the fate of Novo, perhaps. And Sword is the one who continues to live and die by these aggressive fights. Quick reposition. Both duelists out of dodge. Marcy searching for that first rifle pickup. A GG already in the chat from Red Westy. He's feeling like they've won this. Fuel to the fire of Malsi, who has plenty of work to do. He spotted the first of the targets, but as they circle on in, Axolotl make no mistake. A statement victory from them, and the Italian scene bouncing back from an 0-2 yesterday to take a 2-0 against the winners in our opening round. 30 kills posted from Sword. All you can say is bellissimo.
Absolutely, and it almost feels poetic that he's the one that truly carries that final round across the line of getting that final kill, because it felt like it was just the Revenger show throughout this whole map. Obviously, we've had some standout moments from the rest of the players on towards Axolotl, but it's the name that really draws the attention of the impact that he was able to get on the operator, in towards the clutches, and just, sure, he's managed to get 30 kills, but I don't think I remember any of them being any sort of eco or exit kills. He was just constantly in the action of wherever Axolotl wanted to fight towards Novo, putting him at the front of the line, and nobody really got past that first line of defense that Axolotl had to offer.
Very often fighting in the eye of the storm with no recourse. Setting up Axolotl for a historic win for them against a regional rival in terms of organization. Only one other Italian in the server. Wasn't the best of performances from Mochi, but I think you can say the same for the rest. Novo had their moments individually, but the team performance, the